What's up out there? We are back some more Path of Exile, and I have spent the last week doing nothing but running tier 16s with my Cyclone Berserker. I was really just trying to get as many splinters and fragments and everything to do all the different boss fights there are, and I spent a lot of time working on that this week. I have one good victory, but not the big victory that I was looking for, and I feel better about one of the boss fights, not quite the one that I really want to beat. But at any rate, first and foremost, I typically can beat the Form, the Twisted, and the Elder Slayers. Those are usually not a problem, and two of those three fights I went through and got a Maven Witness, got my Alice Point, everything was good. Whatever the fragments are that have the Veritania fight in there, for some reason, and it was more difficult when I, probably because I had the Mercenary, but it was more difficult when I fought her by myself than it was with the Mercenary. And I don't get it, because typically when I fight those four bosses, Baron is always the one that really tears me up. I didn't have any issues with him, and I don't remember if I fought him. I think the first time I fought those four bosses, I fought them all without a mercenary, and then the second time I fought them with a mercenary. So I don't understand the difference, and I don't roll those maps because I want them to be as easy as possible. I want to be actually succeed with them. Now I'll probably roll them when I run them again, because I'm going to be trying to get, whatever loot I can get off the board, but to just beat them the first time, I don't roll them typically. So not rolling them either time, I don't understand why Veritania was so difficult this time around. I don't know if I've got something weird with my build that just didn't work well. I took a lot of damage from her, and I don't know. I don't remember having that much trouble last league. Baron is the one that I thought was going to be the worst one, and he's actually one of the easier ones I fought. But I've got the Form, Twisted, and Elder Slayers down. Those are all Maven Witnessed. We're good to go there. I have all but one of the Forgotten done. I have one map that I haven't found yet, so I need to go run that one whenever it pops up, and I'll be able to finish that. And I have 3 of the Breach Stones that I need for the Hidden. I don't have the 4th one yet. I need to go work on that, but I was spending all my time working on all this other stuff. So when I would get bored, or I would want to get some Sulfite for Delve or something, I would go and run some Breach here and there as I did that. But for the most part, I was solely focused on getting splinters and fragments due to all the other bossing. Now, because I've gotten through the Form, Twisted, and Elder Slayers, I had enough stuff to try the Elder, the Shaper, and Cyrus. And I also had 2 attempts for Cyrus and 2 attempts for the Maven. So I can never remember whether it's the Elder or the Shaper that I have trouble with, but the Elder is the easy one. That's the one that I usually beat every league. I might use a portal or 2 here and there, but he's pretty easy. I can usually take him down. No problem this time. The build is doing really well. We'll look at the build here in a minute, but I took him down, no problems, like no issues. So he's down. I don't have to worry about him anymore. The Shaper is one that I typically struggle with. I don't think I've ever beaten the Shaper. And I got Shaper's Touch gloves from the fight. So it's like the most common thing you get from him. So I went and looked. I don't remember ever beating him with my Righteous Fire build or my Bone Shatter build, and I didn't do it last league with Tectonic Slam, so I don't think I've ever beaten the Shaper at all, and I beat him this time, so he is done. And that fight's actually not as bad. I'm getting used to it, and I've got a decent amount of DPS going on to him, so the fight was actually pretty easy. Once I got used to it, I died a couple times, but I didn't struggle like I have in the past. I actually won the fight, and I have Shaper's Touch gloves. So I may try and put a build together around it. I'm not entirely sure, but that fight is over with, and I don't have to worry about it again this league, and I should be able to take it next league. That seems like a really easy fight, and with this build, if I can keep amping this build up, it's going to be a good build for me to continue forward with, which is the whole point of Settlers League. I wanted to find a new build for myself and make my own and really work into it, and I feel like I've done that. I feel like I'm there. And I've got a victory that I didn't have before by taking down the Shaper. So hopefully I'll be able to remember which one's the easy one and which one's a hard one. But for some reason, I've always struggled with the Shaper. I think I've died because there's those little in-between points where he kicks you off into the realm and you got to go out and kill some monsters. Sometimes I die out there. Usually I die to him and whatever puddles and crap he's got on the ground. But this time around, I totally trashed him. It was not a struggle, but I did die a couple of times, so he's done and out of the way, and that is that. So Elder down, Shaper down. Now, Uber Elder with Elder and Shaper together. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that fight, but it's possible. So maybe I'll attempt it. I don't know, because that's my big goal for this league, is to just try and get through some of these bosses that I've never done. But at the rate that I'm at right now, I've defeated a boss that I've never defeated before. So I feel very, I guess, vindicated or whatever. I feel very good about the build that I put together and the progress that I've gotten from it. So let's jump into the defeats. So those were the successes, and a lot of that I've already done before. The Shaper's the only one that I really have never done before. I tried the Maven twice, and I died both times, and it's not even a competition. So one of the times I hesitate to say that I did better or worse each time. If I'm looking at the amount of footage for both fights in my editor right here, and they're both about the same. I might have a little bit more. Well, I didn't trim it necessarily as much on the second time around, but they're both about the same length of time. So I got about as far in either one. I just struggle with that fight. So I'm not, when I've tried it before with like Righteous Fire, Bone Shatter, Tectonic Slam, usually all the ones that I have regen and everything with, I struggle. This time around, I've got Leech, a lot of Leech. And it went a lot better, but I'm still hitting the puddles and everything, all the degen and stuff that gets on you. I just struggled with it. I struggled during the phase where the brain thing or whatever sitting in the middle spinning around, all the bosses are coming around. I had more trouble with that the first time around than I did the second time, so I think I learned something about the fight and was able to do a little better. But I kept getting caught with all the like big lasers and stuff and all the puddle crap on the ground, and there was just a few times that I got nailed with stuff that just destroyed me. So there's 12 portals gone. I attempted it twice. I made the best effort that I could and just was not able to succeed. So what I'm going to do is go back to the proverbial drawing board, gather up a few more splinters, and, it should be easy enough to come back. I don't have any Awakened Gems. I don't have a 6-link yet. I'm going to try to get more DPS, maybe see if I can get some more defensive layers built up. I need to read about what she's got exactly and see what else I need to protect against. A lot of it was the instant one-shot death stuff, especially when all those other bosses and stuff comes around with the brain thing spinning around. That's where I was struggling the most, I think. Although, like, the whole rest of the fight was, like, all the same thing. You know what I mean? There's not, like, any one spot that was any better or worse than the rest. They all kind of sucked. So, did not get a Maven kill. I did try the Maven twice, and unfortunately, I don't have a victory for it. So I said, all right, fine, and I moved on to Cyrus, and I fought Cyrus twice. Now, this is another fight that I've never actually fought. This one feels doable. The Maven, to me, right at the moment, doesn't feel doable. I'm not getting the DPS. I'm dying too often. I'm not on target enough to do enough damage. But when I was doing the Cyrus fight, I died. I used all my portals up. I fought him twice. I had enough fragments to fight him twice, and the fight felt good. I mean, I felt like my DPS was fairly decent. And you get one shot by him here and there, but some of his stuff's really not that hard to get around. And I noticed that a lot of the mechanics that they have in this fight are in those new boss fights where you've got like the little concentric rings you have to get out of. Like that's on one of the new bosses. Oh, and if I didn't mention it before, I've defeated all of the new bosses. I think I said that in the last video. So I've beat all the new bosses. And I'm now working on Cyrus and Maven, maybe Cortex, whatever else I have left after that. Oh, I did an Adziri fight too. But I noticed some of the mechanics that they were using for Cyrus was showing up on the new bosses. I didn't mean to get sidetracked on that, but I did attempt Cyrus a lot. I don't like the Cyrus fight that much. There's a lot of just downtime where you're waiting on him to do stuff. You're kind of dodging out of the way. I think what you're supposed to do is kind of tuck back in under him, and then he'll draw him back down. I guess that's what you're supposed to do. So I was trying the fight. The first time I did that, I just kind of stayed off on the outside edge, just dodging around. And I think eventually I figured out that I needed to go over to him and get underneath him, and then it would pull him down. So I kind of did that, and I could get the fight to where he would do the big laser thing, which is another thing they did in the, it's probably the Shaper we're fighting, I think, that big, well, I don't remember. One of the new bosses had, I think, is like the a memory of the Shaper or something like that. So that's probably why they had some of the mechanics from him. But where you got the little statue things that all turn your direction and just blast you and hit you. I died a lot during those phases. So I didn't have so much trouble early on. It was more towards the end of the fight, maybe say, I'm guessing 3/4 of the way through the fight. It's hard to tell. One of the things that I don't like about this is there's all the AoE crap everywhere. That sucks. Well, first and foremost, backing up, there's all those stupid portals you have to go through. I don't see why they can't just put you in the fight. You go and you got to watch the whole cutscene and everything. Even if you've attempted the fight before, you have to go through the cutscene and all the doors and everything. It's like, just let me into the fight. I don't want to sit through all that. But I'll get off that soapbox. Once you get into the fight, there's all the big AoE stuff spewing around all over the place. So, okay, cool. You got to go and avoid all that. And like I said, you kind of got to get under him to draw him back down or whatever. And that's kind of annoying. But then once you get far enough into it, I noticed that he would have like 80% health. And then I would just straight up burn him to maybe 20% health. And I didn't have enough to really burn him completely. So then he'd do some other phasing stuff or whatever he'd do. And, you know, you got the little guys that all aim their beam at you or whatever. That's usually where I'd end up with that burn phase. I just couldn't capitalize on it because he'd blink and go somewhere on the map, which I think there's a line that shows where he's going. But typically I didn't. It took a while to catch on to what they were showing. He blinks off screen. You got to go figure out where he's at. And I was just struggling with that. I was kind of annoyed with it. That's the part that I don't like. Is trying to figure out where he went because he just blinks out of existence and then you got to figure out where he went to. So that kind of sucks. And then you got a very short amount of time before he's doing the big laser thing, which is what was killing me on all that. But the other annoying thing was his health. Like he would go, you know, you'd get him down to maybe 20% health left, or 30%. I'll just be generous on that and say he was down to like 30% health. And then he'd go into one of these other phases where he's shooting that big laser thing at you or whatever. And then he'd have 80% health again. And it's like, dude, what am I doing here? So I don't know how far into the fight that I was. I feel like I was getting him most of the way dead, but then he was coming back with like 80% life or 75, 80, whatever percent life. It was just kind of maddening because I'm like, man, why can't I get enough DPS on the target to get him gone before he comes back? And he's just blinking all over the place. It's just an annoying fight. So I feel better about it. I'm going to work on getting the fragments for it. I think I'm getting the fight down. I actually think this one's doable. If I get a few more attempts at it, I might be able to take this one down, especially once I get a 6-link and maybe work up a little bit more damage, more defensive layers, things like that. I think this fight's doable. I am not sure about the Maven. I have no idea what I need to do for the Maven fight. Maybe more DPS, probably more defensive layers. I have no idea what to do for that fight. But I think I could take Cyrus, which would be a really nice, that would be a nice consolation prize because I've never been able to beat that one either. He's always been super tough and I don't know. So at any rate, I did a whole bunch of bossing today. I feel very good. Even though the Maven fight sucked and it feels about the same as where I've been everywhere else, I've taken the Shaper down, which I've never done before, and I feel good about Cyrus fight, so I should be able to beat him at some point. And I'm on vacation this week, so I'm going to spend I'm going to spend some time trying to get the bossing stuff done and maybe some new builds or whatever. I haven't totally decided yet, but I want to work towards Cyrus, and we've got a long league left to go. So at any rate, let's go take a look at the build. So there's my Shaper's Touch. I am very happy to have these. I have no idea what kind of build you can put together with these things. I may try to do something with them. They look really cool. I'm just very happy to have them. And just for grins, the Form, Twisted, and Elder Slayers are done. I still have the Forgotten to finish. I do have a Cortex map. I think I've tried the Cortex before and that thing sucked. I do only still have the 3 Breachstones. The other thing I can do, and I've already done a 4-way, I can do a 5-way. I've never actually attempted a Legion 5-way. I'm really digging Legion, man. I'm getting all kinds of cool stuff out of there. I did find out that there are, do I have one in here? No. I think it says 6-link in it, but there are incubators for 6-link items, and I didn't know that. So I started running a whole bunch of incubators, and I just really dug in on Legion after that. I think that's really good. You get a lot of currency, you get a lot of attempts at uniques and some other crap that comes out of there. What I did get was this glorious leather. So I did get a 6-link from it, and it's just totally not what I can use. The other downside is, and I don't remember which one it is, but one of these unique maps is the map that you have to run. There it is. It's on hallowed ground. The only place you can get the chains that bind is on the hallowed ground unique map. So it doesn't exist on any of these other maps. There's a 6-link coronal one on here. I don't know why it says chains, but because I looked the word chains up, I don't know why that one's pulling up chains. Whatever. But the only place that has the chains that bind is on a unique map. So I thought that sucked, which means that I'm going to have to put my own 6-link together in SSF, which means getting another 450 fusings. So where my build is at right now is 1.948 million DPS. I am right at 2 million DPS. I got a new axe. I did some harvest crafting on this thing. It's definitely not the greatest axe there is by any means. I would love to have this have tier 2 or tier 1 attack speed. I'd like to have, I'd like to have more fizz and flat fizz, increased fizz, all that stuff. But this is actually better than the axe I had before. So I think I went from 1.8 million to 1.9 million DPS. I've got a lot of things fixed on my gear. So I think it was the Eater implicit that was like taking cold as fizz or something, like whatever. I don't know. I didn't want it. So I ended up re-rolling that, and I ended up getting the increased attack damage. So we've got more damage on here. And I don't think I made any other gear changes. I swapped the amulet out that I had for this amulet because this amulet gives me more life and got some cold res on it and everything. I need to roll a different amulet. I want to try to get one that has big int on it. Ultimately, what I would like to do is run infused channeling and conk effect, which I've got a conk effect worked up. Let's see here. I can't equip it because so I made a change to my build where I actually pulled off of this savagery node here and went into hard knocks, which gave me 30 extra int. I thought, okay, cool. That will give me enough int, which is I need 111 to run this thing up, run concentrated effect up to level 20. I thought, cool, I'll do that. And I recolored my sockets and everything. I started to go for it. And then I lost a ton of damage. It is remarkable how much damage these frenzy charges give you. Like they give you a ton of damage. I went from, I think 1.8 million to like 1.4 million DPS. It drops significantly, partially because this thing's not fully leveled up, and partially because I drop melee fizz damage. Like what I've got going on right here, if I could do conk effect, it would be better, but it's like slightly better. What I need is a 6-link. Between pulverize and conk effect is far better. So once I can 6-link this, I'm doing, let's call it 2 million DPS. Once I 6-link this, I'll be doing 2.5 million. If I swap pulverize out for conk effect, I'll be doing like 2.7 million. So I think I've got a 3 million DPS capable build. If I can eke out a little bit more, probably in the axe, because there's a lot of play in here. I've only got 112% on the increased fizz damage. That could go up to 129. I've got the tier 5 mercenaries mod here with fizz and accuracy. I don't really need the accuracy, but that's giving me extra fizz percentage, I guess. I did get tier 1 flat fizz, but that could be a lot better because I'm only getting 36 to 79, and that rolls 47 to 84. So there's and I got tier 3 attack speed. Like tier 1, I think is 28% or 27%, something like that. So there's some room to improve. I could get a much better weapon. We can get, I don't know, there's probably some other stuff I can add onto my gear somewhere in here. But at any rate, I could see this doing 3 million DPS, and where I'm currently at is 2 million. Like I'm basically at 2 million DPS, and I did go ahead and level up. So we're at level 95. In the last video, I was level 94, and I think I forgot to mention what I was going to do with it, but The last point that I put in, I dropped into this jewel socket over here. It's been sitting there just not being used. And when I got this jewel, or when I opened up this socket, I just went and put the point here. But I've got two halfway decent jewels right here. This one gives me attack speed with axe, max life, and leached as fizz. Fizz attack damage, leached as life. This one, I actually dropped this one with tier 1 attack speed on it. Now, it's not the 8% attack speed, but it's 7% as a, whatever you call this thing. Oh, word escapes me. But this thing's locked in here, so you can't change it. So I re-rolled this a few times, and I got increased damage with axes and dexterity. And this build is so dex-starved. So I might be able to lessen up on, that's got int on it. I might be able to lessen up some of the dexterity I have on other pieces of gear. I don't know if I still have dex crafted on anything. I don't think so. But it kind of, I don't know, it's all helped. So I've squeaked out 2 million DPS, and I think that's about all the changes that I've made since the last video at least. So new axe, big DPS, I leveled up, got the point in here. I'm kind of thinking about I might try for level 100 with this character. It's a long grind. I ground out level 95, which wasn't too bad, and I have an idea. So what I've been doing is breach on this with delve and harvest, because I can just get the crafting materials and stuff like that. And then on my bossing build, I've got legion with all the different bosses. So I was thinking one of these trees, now I need to get a lot of the not the regret orbs, but whatever these things are for this, the unmakings. I'm going to need to get a lot of unmakings to do this, I think. But I was tinkering around with the idea of running Abyss and Breach, because that's a lot of monsters, and I think that's a good XP combination for leveling up. So if I do go for that, I don't know whether I'll do that on this tree or maybe this tree, because I'm already on this spot. I'm already into Breach. I could probably pull out of maybe Harbinger and Delve and stuff like that and go all in on Abyss. Maybe that's what I do, because this has already got Breach on it. So I could potentially do that. I like having the harvest because I can craft things with it, but I don't know. I'll have to get a lot of unmakings to fix all this. And, I've gone into Harbinger on here. I could probably pull all that stuff out and just go into Abyss and Breach. But I'm thinking that would be a good XP generator right there. And then I think there's some scarabs you can get with increased XP and stuff like that. I don't know. I'll have to try it out. But that is the progress that I have. And I'm very pleased. I got the shapers down, and the build is doing has far exceeded the expectations that I had. It's done exactly what it needs to do. I'm slowly building up the DPS. The next thing I'll be doing is getting up enough fusings to 6-link this chest piece, and then once I do that, maybe I'll roll another chest piece. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll try to get a different one. But at any rate, the build is doing fantastic. I am getting bossing done like I wanted to do. Maybe don't have the Maven done yet, but like I said earlier, I think I see Cyrus on the horizon. I think I could beat him. Not sure about the Maven. Don't know about any of the Ubers at all, but we're making some serious progress on going forward. So that is going to do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.